Welcome to the Assistants Podcast. I'm Coach Lance.
It's Coach Mike.
Coach Tim.
Powered by UNSPOKEN Atlanta.
Let's run a flat pick and roll. And let's make reads out of that.
So when we went in the gym to train, nobody saw film on it. Nobody saw our workout.
You know what I mean? Like, of course, he made the pass, but you had to do something to get open. Either you saw your defender's back of his head, so you slid to the open spot to the window. Man, we back, dog. Let's try to get into some things, man. I know we started the school year off. We in week 2, right?
Yep, week 2.
Week 2, and I think, one thing I think we're gonna have a talk about is just time management with these student athletes.
Right.
I mean, guys are going to be getting their own workout in with trainers and just strength coaches, or 4-on-1s going to be starting. So it's just like, what are some things we can do, or we can try to give these young student athletes a heads up on how to manage their time with trying to get better, of course, and then also making sure they stay on top of their grades before the season starts.
I think one thing kids got to get adjusted to is creating a good sleeping schedule. All right, so at a certain time, you got to cut your phone off. And you got to really go to bed and get all of your work done before a certain time so you can be rested and and wake up in the morning and be able to function throughout a 10 to 12 hour day.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage a lot of kids, go to sleep by 10 o'clock. I mean, you go to sleep by 10, wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, get a workout in for an hour, then you can go ahead and head off to school, depending on what county you're in. Now, if you're in Gwinnett, you might have to wake up at 3:34 to get a workout in because school starts at, 7 o'clock in the morning, as opposed to the DeKalb County. It's 8:10, 8:15.
Yeah.
So I think the sleep schedule is important. What you eat and what you fuel into your body is important because that helps you sleep better at night as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that summer transition is pretty tough because kids, depending on the kid, they wake up at any time. You know what I mean? Like they'll wake up at 11 o'clock. Won't take their pajamas off until 2. So you gotta create a schedule, and you gotta stick to that schedule and be consistent in order for it to translate into your basketball skills, into your academics, and so on and so forth.
For sure.
So sleeping and eating is, I think kids need to get a grasp of that, like ASAP.
What you say, Tim?
Probably one of the biggest things, like Mike said, detaching from the world. Getting off your phone, putting it down, getting off that social media, but also maximizing your time, prioritizing. What your schedule's like throughout the day. When can you eat? When do you have time to get a snack or get a meal in? You got workouts in between those. Again, what you putting into your body, like all that stuff matters. How early you eat, how late you eat, what you do before workout, what you do after workout. So those are pretty much the basis of it.
Man, I hear all that too. That's definitely, but like you talking about prioritizing your time within the day, man. Like I can't get down with a guy if I'm walking in my locker room, man, and they got a lunch period where they're not doing anything, or they're in the gym period and they're not on the court doing anything. Like that's the time you do your work, but you know what I'm saying? Your forearms and your thumbs are getting strong because you scrolling and typing and texting.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's time to go to the weight room after school again to get on the court, coach, I can't stay after school. I gotta go home and do my project. Man, you had a whole hour and a half to do a project, dog. In your period. So what are we doing? Like, are we running away from the work, or are we just not serious about it? So those are other things I feel like they got to do, because there's plenty of times throughout the day where they can get extra work done in. You know what I mean? I know it's several times where it's teachers in class where, on block days, I'm not sure if y'all have block days, but we have periods throughout the day, throughout the week, where kids can be in their classes, homeroom class, and they can get extra work done or makeup work that they need to get done.
Nice.
So are you not doing that during that time frame? Like, our school gives every kid ample opportunity to make up work and get things done or even redo things that they didn't do well on.
Right.
So, and I'm also looking at like you said, if school ends in Gwinnett for us 2:10, right?
Right.
Even if you start working out at 2:30, just going in the weight room, get a workout in for an hour, you're done by 3:30, 4 o'clock the latest. You mean to tell me you can't go home and get your project done after that?
Right.
We're not keeping you past 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Right.
So I mean, I tell them all the time, like, you know, early on when it's, you know, optional workouts and 4-on-1s, that's fine. But you know, this is a separation season for you guys, so you guys got to understand how that operates and what we as coaches look at too when this whole process is going on.
I think too, Coach Lance. I think that the biggest thing is the kids don't understand because they haven't really experienced the college schedule yet. Because you got to think, when we go to college and you got to maximize your time and prioritize everything, and you got to find time to actually eat between classes, because you know you don't always get to eat. You got to find time to actually do those things. And you got a workout at 1. You got team practice at 4:30.
Right.
And you know you got, after you get out of that, or you leave practice early, you got class at 7. You know, if you freshman, sophomore, you got that 7 to 8:30 class. They haven't really experienced that, and they don't understand it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so if nobody tells them, but even when we do tell them, they still don't take it serious because they haven't really experienced that. So the ones who are going to go to college and play college basketball at any level, they're going to have to learn that fast. Because if you don't learn how to prioritize and maximize your time, you're going to be behind the 8 ball, or you're going to be flustered. You're not going to know how to handle it and put things together. Struggle.
Biggest thing is sacrifice. So what are you willing to sacrifice in your lifestyle, in your day-to-day, to make sure that you maximize what you want to get out of basketball?
Mm-hmm.
So you might have to leave some friends behind. You might have to, you know, not go to this party or not go to this football game. Like I had a situation 2 weeks ago where we had a preseason game against Columbia, and my girls was like, hey, we want to go to the game, but we want to work out. So I said, okay, so what we'll do is we'll work out from 3:30 to 5. Y'all can go home, freshen up, and y'all can be back to the game before the end of the first quarter. We was able to do that and knock that out. All we did was shoot. You know what I mean? We worked on pick and roll, and we got up shots. And I tell them all the time, like, I'm going to work with you because I know you want to be in the mix, and you know you still want to be a kid, and I want you to be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm not going to hold you in the gym for 2 to 3 hours knowing that you want to be somewhere. But you got to meet me at this time, and you got to give me this type of effort so we can leave. Because if you're going to commit to the work, we got to maximize our time while we're here. So if it's an hour and a half workout, we really got to drill everything and be focused. So that means it's less water breaks, it's less chatting, it's less doing this, that, and the fourth, so we can get it done. So you can go ahead and do what you need to do.
And also too, like you said, you might have that hour and a half, you know what I'm saying, workout time slot. But guess what? If I'm big, I know we all are. I'm big over quality over quantity, right? So if the workouts or the ladies or gentlemen are just working out hard and they're getting it in and they're making shots and they're in tune, that hour and a half really gonna get cut to maybe between 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You really put that hour, you made the hour and a half time slot because you know, like these student athletes, they're young. We got them, they lazy. It takes them 20 minutes just to kind of
Get going.
They kind of bring the energy, and it's just like by the time you get the energy, it's like, man, we done went through 30, 40 minutes of this workout, and you're finally giving me your best effort. Like, we don't need that. Like in the game, I can't wait. When I put you in, I can't wait for you to say, oh, I got to get loose, coach. My knees tight. No, you got to get in there and be on go. That's why we have warm-ups. You got to figure out how to stay in tune. So, yeah, man, like that's the thing with these student athletes right now is just understanding that aspect of just understanding how to prioritize, sacrifice, and make it work. And, you know, y'all saw that tweet I put out. You know, we all don't have certain schools and whatever, but the gym, you know, volleyball team is in season. So sometimes that net is still up. When you go out there on that court trying to get some work in, either you're going to go home and be like, nah, I can't do it. You're going to use that side goal. Or you're going to just use half of the court. You don't need the whole court anyway if you're just out there getting up shots. So.
And the most important skill in basketball, I don't care if it's girls or boys, You gotta be able to shoot the ball. But you don't need a whole gym to become a better shooter. You just need a rim. You just need that little bit of space to form shoot. If you form shoot every day and work on your mechanics and work on your touch, you will see your numbers, your shooting percentage from three, from free throw, from in front of the rim is going to increase because you're consistently working on that every single day. You know, so I always tell kids, I mean, you know, and I coach girls, so I get the whole philosophy of I don't want to work out, you know, early in the school day because I don't want to sweat and I don't want to take a shower at the school. I get that. But if you got gym, go up on the stage, go up on the aux gym, and form shoot. You can get up 100 form shots and now you can break a sweat. You can shoot free throws without breaking a sweat. So we all know the game is won rebounding, layups, and free throws. You can dominate those three areas, you're going to win a lot of games. And free throws and layups, you don't need to break sweat to do that. So if you do that consistently every day during your gym class, I tell kids during lunch, y'all ain't eating school lunch. You know, so y'all in there politicking and hanging out. Those people who's hanging out, man, they don't have the future or the talent that you have. So you need to leave that environment and come work on your game. You can hang out with them on the weekends, hang out with them in transition from class to class, but y'all see the same people every day. That'd be my thing. Like, you see this person every single day. What could y'all talk about?
And you talk to them on the phone,
On
through
FaceTime,
text, Snapchat, whatever social media app you have that can communicate. Y'all talk.
So why are we so hell bent on chatting with each other when I can actually go in and as coaches, you know, we'll love to hear our kids say, "Hey, coach, I want to get up shots during lunch or during fourth period. Can you make it happen?" Boom, I'll leave a basketball out. Now I'm calling the coach that got PE that period. Hey, X, Y, and Z is gonna go up and they're gonna get up shots. Can you make sure they straight? Coaches love that. It's not gonna be a PE coach that's gonna say, "Nah, he can't come in here, man. We got badminton today." You know, and you one of the star basketball players, or you like, you know what I mean? Like you a freshman and everybody know that you got a future. Ain't no coach finna be like, "Nah, he or she can't come in here today, man. You know, we working on volleyball today. We working on learning how to spike and pass the ball." Nah, they gonna let you come in there. They gonna set it up for you, and they gonna let you play. Like so,
Man, it's funny you say that because I had two kids, dog. Jerry Dane and Mir Panone, right? They Jerry's at NC State right now and Mir's at Xavier, right?
Right.
They were some dogs. They worked. You know what I'm saying? They worked. And it was to the point where we didn't even know until probably like maybe about like 4 weeks later that they got the janitor's number on their own. You know, the school don't close at like 10 o'clock, 9 or whatever, because they, you know, they closing up, cleaning up the school, the late night shift. They done got, you know, they getting in the gym, getting on the gun and getting up extra shots or getting whoever they want to come work out with them in the gym on their own because they got the janitor's number. They took the initiative. They made sacrifices, right?
Right.
And guess how we found out that they were in the gym at night?
The cameras.
No. We had snacks in the locker room in the office. Them things were gone. We like, dog, who is like is the janitor coming in the office eating the snacks up, drinking the Gatorade? The janitors open up the office door so they can get all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, we didn't get mad because they was eating the snacks. It's just like,
more in there.
All right, we're gonna put more in there.
Right.
they ain't need dinner. This was their dinner.
Right.
And look where them guys at. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, Coach, this is about sacrifices and time management, figuring out what you want to put your time into.
That's a pretty cool story though, because you know, custodians, they don't really trip as long as you don't leave no extra work for them to do. And if you just, you know, if you being respectful and they give you some guidelines, hey, look, nobody can be in the gym with you. Make sure you clean up after yourself. If you see something, make sure you clean it up, you know, regardless if it's yours or not. If I get free gym access, I think I'm gonna do that because now I get to be in the gym for 3 hours. I get to shoot on the gun. I get to work on ball handling. I get to play ones. Now I'm way further ahead than my peers because I've added an extra 2 to 3 hours on to practice time or to, you know, the workout I did earlier. You know, them hours and them days, man, they start to add up.
Yeah.
You know, you keep stacking those days, man. You'll look up and you've logged 200 to 300 more hours in the gym than the next person because, you know, you just constantly just in there.
Yeah. And then also too, man, you gotta understand the janitor is probably your biggest fan at the end of the day because I mean, I know a lot of them schools, man, in them schools, you on the bench and you know, you look down in that corner, that janitor's standing right there in that corner.
You're watching.
Right by the trash can or right got his little broom in his hand to make sure everything is straight. You see he popping in, seeing what's going on, watching the game. So it's like if you a student athlete, man, you want to really get better and you trying to get that access, that's the person you be cool with right there.
I remember for us, it was Mr. King.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Mr. King, boy, he was.
I like Mr. King. Definitely, he used to let us in the gym all the time.
Oh yeah.
Early in the morning, late. I tell Mr. King, we coming back. We gonna be about to go grab something to eat. Back, Mr. King be there till, like you said, 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, him, they in that back room playing spades and some Uno. Yeah, hold on, man. Hold on. Let me get this card. Let me get his hand off first.
Yeah,
But,
it's not one custodian that's not a sports fanatic.
Mm-mm,
You know,
they all.
I've yet to meet one that's like anti-sports or is not tapped in with a sport. They always coming up and saying, "Hey man, I saw you did this the other day, man." Or, "Hey coach, man, that guard you got, man, he the real deal, man. You
Mhm.
down the road, you got to make sure, you know, you keep him close to you, man, because he gonna make it."
Yeah.
Like they see the vision because they always around. They really tapped in with sports.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got the fly by in, fly by out teacher that's kind of like they don't really know what it takes. You know, if you don't come from sports, you don't really know what it takes to be like
Mhm.
really, really good. You know what I mean? And like I said, them custodians, I know a lot of custodians that they are ex-athletes. So
A lot of them.
they know like,
Yeah.
man, that gym time, that's why they're so willing to open up the gym because they know that, bro, like this is a good kid. This kid ain't gonna be ripping and running and doing this, and I'd rather have he or she in the gym as opposed to being out and about doing whatever.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that because I don't think that most athletes, they don't understand that the power of being an athlete, to being able to take advantage of being an athlete.
Right.
So usually, athletes are held to a higher standard,
Right.
meaning like we expect, come every day, show up, do this, do that, and do everything right. But also at the same time, as a person who not supposed to be in trouble, not supposed to be doing things not supposed to do, like I need access. Mr. King, I need to be able to get in the gym from 5 to 7 after we work out. How can you make that happen for me? Go talk to people. Said them kids, they went to the initiative and got his phone number on their own. So a lot of kids not doing that. They're not developing those relationships, building those friendships with those people. Because those are the people when you leave and come back, they gonna still be here. Again, those are the people, like you said, they supporting you. You don't even know.
Yeah.
There's definitely rewards to being a student athlete, just like his expectations. So like you're expected to sit in the front, expected to make certain grades. You got to be on time. But also, those same people that reward you for those things, if you ask them for things, they'll take care of you. Like there
Mhm.
is that teacher that will, that go to Smoothie King. Well, this kid is mannerable. He or she does X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna look out for him because this is one thing I always do. I bring fruit to school every day. So if I'm on duty or if I got lunch break, I'm eating some type of fruit because I don't want to eat something heavy that's gonna make me sluggish throughout the day. So if I see athletes that's in the building, I encourage them like, hey, you need to eat more grains, more pasta, you need to eat more fruit, less soda, less sugary drinks, less, you
Mhm.
know, getting food from off campus, like all of that stuff. It's hard to break that food down once you get rolling and you get playing. So if you educate these kids early, like, hey man, like that salad that y'all keep ignoring that's over there, all you gotta do is just go that same fried chicken that mama made last night, just slice it up and put those pieces on that salad, and now you rolling. You can pick whatever dressing you want. You can go ranch, honey mustard, $1,000, whatever you want to do. And now you've added so many good calories and you shaved away from all of the excess sugar, the saturated fat, and all of that stuff. And you'll feel better going throughout the day. When you eat fruit, you feel better.
Mhm.
Now those multivitamin pills and all those zincs and all that, you don't even got to take those pills because you're already eating it. You're eating the real stuff day to day. So I be educating kids all the time, and I tell them like, look, if you want some fruit, let me know what you like, and I'll go pick it up. You know what I mean? I ain't never tripping about it because kids they'll eat at anything. And they'll walk up to you straight up and be like, hey, Coach 10, let me get some of that. You don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
It might be something that's like prescribed specifically for you and your body only. They don't care. They like, man, I want some of that.
Need that.
So if you got some stuff that can benefit them in your hands, guess what they're going to do? They'll come over and ask for it. And if you give it to them, now you're feeding them the stuff that they need to fuel their body. So it's a reverse psychology thing. And like I said, I always do it. And kids love to slice apples. They love the blueberries and strawberries. So I know that's a off the wall tangent, but it's another way for student athletes to, you know what I mean, use their likeness to benefit.
Nah, it's well needed though.
Right.
It's because it's a part of our reality every day. And like for me, a kid always, coach, you got a bottle of water, coach, you got a snack. Yeah. I ain't working out, coach. I just came from the field house. I just came from the weight room. Oh, what you do? What it look like? What you work on? As I'm getting them a bottle of water or something, or Gatorade out my refrigerator. I keep that stuff more so for them than myself.
Right.
Yeah. So, also too, man, right? We talked about just time management and just, just student athletes being ready to like just go, right? Being active and just taking initiative. I feel like sometimes those student athletes don't do that right now because I think that some of these parents put their kids in it too early with high expectations. You see what I'm saying? So I'm saying like you got kids that are playing, football, basketball, like just saying organized sports at like they're in their mind a high level, at like first, second grade. You know what I mean? And then I feel like a lot of times when you finally get to them kids, when it really counts and they got to really put the time and the effort in on their own, they don't want to do it because they was pushed so hard when they were young. So let's speak on that, man. And like, do y'all feel that it's accurate what I'm saying, or do y'all kind of disagree, or you think you kind of need that?
So I kind of think that it goes both ways because there's a fine line. Ultimately, I think it boils down to the kid, how they soak it in, what you put around them. Kids are sponges. So I've seen situations where a kid has waited too late to play. A parent has put the kid in the sport too late. He's already in the 7th, 8th grade, hasn't picked up a basketball. Not a unicorn. It's only a limited amount of those. But I've also seen the burnout happen fast. Kids, like you say, they've been in 1st and 2nd grade, been playing it since then. By the time they get to high school, they burn out with it, or even middle school. So they either put it down and go a different direction, or they've had people that they've encountered that kind of made them feel a certain way toward the game or toward the sport. So I kind of think it goes both ways, and I think it's what the kids encounter throughout their journey. So every kid is going to be different.
I agree. I also think too.
Is what?
Yeah, I do think there is a such thing as a burnout. That's why we need to encourage more cross training. So I think kids should play multiple sports early, not just to feel out what they like, but more so just so they can just work different muscles. And every sport has a different type of teaching. So with soccer, it focuses a lot on foot speed, coordination with being able to run and kick and so on and so forth, and being able to play a certain part of the field, depending on the position you play. That's why a lot of people tell you to put your kid in soccer really, really early because it gets them going up and down. And it doesn't require a lot of upper body skill. All you got to do is be able to just control the ball and be a good teammate as far as like passing, communicating, and being able to hone in on a certain part of the field. Like if you play midfield and if you're a forward, yeah, you're playing both sides. But for the most part, it just gets kids up and down with, not a lot of expectations, but enough to where you can just go out and just be free. Now, I feel like in basketball, it's just constant pressure for you to be compared to the next kid, or you got to be this, or you got to be that, or you got to be able to shoot threes at 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like, like we got kids that can't even get the ball up on the rim, on an 8-foot rim, and we got mixtapes of elementary kids. Football, like now we got these 7-on-7 leagues where kids they don't even know how to properly be in a structured environment, but we got these cool uniforms. We're coming out with this, and it's the antics, right? So we're not teaching the kids at this very young age how to work as a team or work together to listen to a coach. We're just worried about getting to this Friday and the Saturday night games or Saturday morning games where we can show off that we look the best.
Yeah.
And when you go out there, technically you're not sound, your fundamentals are not there, and you lack discipline.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you just gotta, if we're gonna put a kid into something, let them have fun and learn throughout the process. And if they don't like it and they don't want to adjust to it, let them finish the season out, and then you don't have to go back to that sport moving forward. But you don't want to have a kid in basketball or football and you just constantly own them. I notice this too, man. I go to a lot of events. It's never the parent that made it. That's the parent that's always harping on their kid. You ever notice that? Like it's always that parent that career came up short or they weren't good coming up, and all of a sudden they know what it takes to be a high-level high school kid or make it to college. There's only a certain percentage that made it pro. So if you weren't even the best at your high school, what makes you think you can tell somebody how to be a pro?
Yeah.
Throughout this journey, like I always notice that, and I'll be like, parents that kind of, and there are some parents that are cuckoo, that are ex pros. We know a couple. So but for the most part, I always see those parents like they just kind of sit back, they're reserved. They see what's going on. They let the coach, and then they give their feedback at the dinner table. But the ones that's just out and overt and always bashing the coach and bashing somebody else's kid, I always find it that parent or that coach is just not, you ain't make it far. So now you're trying to live through a kid, and that can cause a burnout as well.
Yeah. And I mean, also too, man, I look at it as like, like I agree with you, Tan, like on like not waiting that late to put a kid into a sport, right? But I'm also in agreement with like, doing it at a reasonable age, but also like you said, just letting these kids find themselves. You know what I mean? Don't identify the sport that you want your child to play. Let them identify themselves,
Yeah.
right? Soccer, you got baseball, you got football, you got basketball, like you got track. You know what I'm saying? There's, some other sports out there that may intrigue your child, but like let them figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, your child is gonna let you know what they into and what they want. Like right now, like my little man, like I coach basketball. He see basketball all the time, but he like football. I'm like, okay. So guess what? We're gonna do some flag football. We're not doing no tackle, but we're gonna do soccer. I want you to get the footwork right. I-9 flag football. Listen, all that's doing is teaching him the game. You gotta learn the game before you just go out there and just be all at it. You know what I'm saying? Even with basketball, like I'm not finna put my son into a league right now when he don't even understand the basics of just he got other guys on his team that he needs to move the ball to. Like let him understand that first.
Right.
Let him understand how to just dribble without, picking it up and taking 2 steps and putting it back on the floor like traveling. Like we need to learn those things before we get into those situations. Once he understands it, then it's free range. He gonna struggle, but he knows what he's doing wrong, what he's not, and what he's doing right. So I think, and then you just don't want your kids to burn out too quick, man, because they'll despise you on that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying?
And I think a lot of the basic skills, even when you playing, putting the kids in sports early, a lot of that stuff is learned outside. And I don't think we'll ever get back to an environment where our kids grow up outside
Mm-hmm.
because there's too much technology involved and kids aren't outside playing. So I can just think back that everything I learned was outside. Like out playing, kicking the ball around, whether it was a basketball or football or the red kickball. We was outside doing everything. You was playing a baseball, throwing a football. But everything was also competition too. Who gonna throw the rock the furthest? Who
Right.
can skip the rock the furthest? How many times can you jump rope? Can you jump? Who can jump the highest, touching the wall, touching the bricks? That type of stuff. So I think too, for us, a lot of those basic, like that basic footwork and that small stuff, we kind of developed on our own. Because again, we didn't have trainers. Nobody was outside training. We was just outside running around the neighborhood, running around the subdivision, in the cul-de-sac, creating stuff.
Right.
And we learned a lot of those skills that way. But times have changed and times are different. And like you said, you got to kind of put something in front of these kids, put a soccer ball, basketball, and kind of see which way they're going to gravitate, you know,
Yeah.
instead of forcing it on a kid.
And also too, man, we just gotta realize that, you know, we don't us as parents, man, we shouldn't let sports identify our relationship with our kids. Because at the end of the day, eventually we all know that it's gonna eventually stop somewhere down the line. It
Right.
may be pro, it may be college, it may be high school, it may not even get to high school.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So we gotta find that balance into making sure we hone in on our kids because I gotta say I feel like and we all know, man, we sit down with our student athletes every single day when it gets that crunch time to figure out what they want to do for school, college, especially in this landscape. It's hard for these seniors getting recruited, especially for the schools that they technically want to go to, right? So now it's like, what do you want to do, right? You might have to go to prep school, okay? Prep school does hold out on your time and get, your time starting for college. So are you willing to do it a whole nother year of just kind of like basic classes or just not taking classes, but you just playing? Or do you want to just go ahead and start off with college? And, when I talk to the parents, their story is way different from their child's. And it's just like, sometimes I feel like you got to read the room, like communicate with your child, understand what they want, what they don't want, because that's how I think a lot of relationships down the line, once your child starts to get older and have their own space and their own mind, like that's why a lot of friction happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just making sure, man, us as parents, dog, like and parents in general, like need to just tap in with your child, read the room, not force them into things that they don't want to be doing, and just let it flow. And and use sports as a teaching mechanism for them to understand. All right, being a team player, that's what you got to do in the corporate field. You're working, understanding your job, completing your job, and doing your job to its fullest when other parts are moving as well around you. How to understand to start some off at the beginning. You shouldn't be at the same place you are at the beginning of your year or your quarter of your job to the end of the year. Y'all should be different. Y'all should be in a different place. All those things come into play, and these are things that while your child is young, we should be teaching.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I think all the other stuff will flow into your child. If he wants to do it, she wants to do it, they're going to do it on their own, and then they're going to put that 110% effort in.
I think too, the parents, like you said, that they're not in tune with the kids and they need to be. And that's with realistic expectations. So a lot of the parents aren't having conversations with the kids. They're not asking them, "Hey, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself? What do you really want to do with this?" They're not asking those type of questions. They just see little Johnny and little Johnny just play basketball, little Johnny play football, and that's it. Going to games every weekend, and he's just out there, but you don't know if he really want to play or do he really want to do it for real, and how serious does he want to be with it. But also just sitting down and breaking it down to the kids. Again, everybody's not going to make it pro. Everybody's not going to play Division One. Everybody's not going to play college basketball. Everybody's not going to make a high school team. Everybody's not going to make a middle school team. Those slots are limited. And so if you're not putting the work in to be able to fulfill one of those slots, then what are we doing? We need to look at something different. So
Mm-hmm.
again, just those realistic expectations on things like that, on work ethic. Well, you can't tell me you want to play college basketball, son, and you're not putting the work in. Because when you tell me that, I'm gonna ask you, what you working on? What you doing? How are you trying to get there? How are you trying to make your high school team? You in the 8th grade now, you want to make the high school team. What are you doing to make the high school team? What have you been working on? So again, a lot of parents, they show up without the realistic part, and they think that it's just supposed to happen. Not
Mm-hmm.
that the kid is just it's gonna be automatic. And I tell kids all the time, man, it's like getting a job. You got one job. You got 100 people applying for that one job. Why should they hire you? Why should I put you on my 12-man roster? Why should I give you a scholarship for $200,000 to cover you for 4 years? Why? Why not this person? What are you doing to separate yourself? Again, those are the conversations that a lot of people are not having with their own kids. So we got to try to change that narrative and make sure we're doing that.
I think too, I think as coaches, I think we should have that conversation with parents because I don't think parents understand how to even go about that. And sometimes it's just being straight raw, just telling them like, hey, what do you want from this? Like, do you want to get your school paid for? Do you really want to go D1? Or do you just want to finish it off at high school? And it's okay to cap out at high school. It's okay with that. You know, as long as you got the resources and you got the structure and the foundation from high school so you can be successful in college, then that's all that matters. Now, if you want to go to college, like you said, Sean, it has to go up another level. So the work that you did in high school, that's not going to work at the next level, right? So whatever you did in high school, that's what got you to look in the scholarship. But you still got to adjust to the play that goes with it because everybody else that they're recruiting, they're just as good or better than you. So now you start back at the bottom of the ladder. You got to climb up again. Are you willing to do that for 4 years? You want to go pro? You're going to get at the bottom of that's even if you're the number one pick. You still got to start at the bottom of that ladder and you got to climb up. Certain steps of that ladder, you know, it's a little bit easier to climb up because, you know, you get breathing room and leeway because you are the number one pick, but you still got to show up and improve.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you know, they'll get rid of you quick. We've seen a lot of number ones and number two picks. We've seen a lot of people that go Power 5 and end up D2 or end up at a JUCO. And we'll sit there and say, we know that kid's not ready for that level. But sometimes you got to go up there and see it for what it really is. And if you go up there, you don't perform, and they getting rid of you. And there's a lot of kids that's pump faking, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. A lot of people entering that portal because they done got cut. It isn't because they wanted to go and seek other opportunities. It's because they got cut. And we need to have those conversations as well because there's a lot of talk going on where people are saying, you know, I was getting mistreated or I wasn't doing this. No, you went up there and you didn't do what you were supposed to do.
Being lazy.
And that's why they got rid of you.
But honestly, and that's a great point, because a lot of the real no. The real no. You can sit there, like you said, we can sit there and watch a kid and we can say, he's not ready for that. Or you're going to struggle because you're lazy. You've been lazy down here your whole high school career. If you carry that into college with you, you're going to
Eat
struggle.
you alive, man.
But it's also okay if you go, you're not ready for the level. You have to go down a level and then come back up to that level. It happens. But at the end of the day, it's a learning curve. If you've learned that, hey, what I was doing before didn't allow me to have success, that's what's supposed to happen, growth. But at the end of the day, if you don't come in the door with somebody who had that conversation with you or know, okay, like you said, this ain't good enough. What I was doing 2 years ago, I ain't gonna cut it. I ain't gonna be able to cut it, you know, at this D1 program, doing those things I was doing, not showing up, being sluggish, eating anything I want, you know, not taking care of my body. It could be any of those things. But again, if they know, then they can have better success. But like you said, that goes back to the parents is all wrapped in one. That goes back to the expectations, competition and competing. Like again, it all ties together. So it's a one big round ball, and you don't have any room for error for real. You don't.
And you know, kind of want to piggyback off of what you're saying, Ten, like, and just start this new topic real quick. You said competing and being tied in and together, right? So as we start this new year, right, what are your feelings and opinions on just teamwork and chemistry versus talent? Like, do you think regardless of how good your talent is, that regardless of if a team is out there with the best teamwork or just unity and chemistry, that talent's going to win, or what? Especially down the line when you're talking about playoff time.
No. We've all seen some of the most talented teams go down because they thought they was gonna come in and just push somebody out the way, and that's not the case. I'd much rather have a team of full of 3 stars who work hard than having 1 or 2 5 stars who, they come out and they play cute basketball. Um, don't really have a teamwork, separate individuals, don't hang out with their teammates, because that's everything, man. At the end of the day, a good team is always going to be bonded some type of way. Like good players and good teams, they're going to do everything together, no matter what it is. If we go into the football game on Friday night to support the football team, you're going to see 6 or 7 of us there. 12-man roster. 3 of them might not be able to make it. They may have homework, whatever the case may be. But you're going to see 6 or 7 of my teammates. We all sitting here watching the football game together. That's bonding. Oh, what y'all doing after this? Oh, we're going to get some wings. We're going to get a pizza. We're going to do this. But they doing something or everything together on a consistent basis. So I'd much rather have a team who, like, the teamwork is there and they're bonded by that than super talented. Because we all know where that talent doesn't work hard,
It's beat.
yeah, they come up short.
I've been in situations where we've had several talent. I mean, or just different guys that are very talented, and we had to try to find that chemistry, force the chemistry. You know what I'm saying? Like we had to do team bonding activities and retreats and just normal things that you do anyway with your group but it was a little bit more forceful, I felt sometimes, because it was like, all right, we need to pair this guy up with this guy because we realize sometimes they don't, on the court, they don't see eye to eye, right? As far as making the right play, or I felt like he could have made that pass to him, but he didn't, oh well. But, you know what I'm saying? Then also, too, man, you have those groups where you don't have to worry about that because they're already building that chemistry on their own. Like, I love walking in the hallways, man, or just coming in the locker room and everybody's just grouped up, 1 through 12, talking, laughing, joking, from freshmen to seniors.
Mhm.
That's a sign of a good group and a great group that, as any coach, you come in there, you want to be like, yeah, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to get these guys going. But then when you start seeing these pockets, see 2 or 3 guys here, 2 or 3 guys there, you like, man, this is not going to really work long term because we already know, like, they're not tied in. They're not all about each other as a whole. And it's like, man, if you can find that in any means necessary in your squad, like, man, you're going to be successful. It may not always be a championship, but just the environment you're in every day, ready to come into work, guys bringing it, competing for it. And that's what we all as coaches want. Like, guys to come in, work, ladies coming in, working, just finding that, like, yo, I'm coming in, I got this job and I'm going to get it done. And I'm doing it with my friends.
I think also too the upperclassmen and the seniors, they got to do a really good job of bringing in freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's usually where the disconnect usually happens. Because when you got juniors and seniors, they're always like, well, they're immature and this is that and the fourth. But yeah, you got friends that's your age that's immature,
Right.
and you still look
Take
past
them
their
places.
immaturity because they're your friend. And we all know too, it's a 12-person roster. Everybody don't have to be that tight. But you got to find one common thing that y'all got. And if it's basketball, then, if we all together, let's chat basketball. We're going here. Like you said, we got to go as a unit because when people show up and they see y'all, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's the girls' basketball team. That's the boys' basketball team. And they always together. Like, and, my group, this is the most unity I've seen in my group since my first year. Like, they're always together. They're always politicking together. They're always laughing together. It's really good positive energy. And I already know it's translating over to training. So when we go and train, they still got that sense of urgency. Like, yeah, we gonna compete, but like it's all love once training's over. So now we got an environment where I got my point guards pushing each other to get better. So now we not being lazy or we not going through motion in drills because you need to work on your defense. This person y'all know each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Mhm.
So I always tell them, like, once we translate that stuff onto the court, if you're the best defender, I need you to help everybody else improve their ball handling. So you got to cause havoc on everybody. Because if you're the best defender in the county or the state, if they can handle the pressure against you, then that means anybody else cupcake. So getting that mindset to let kids know, like, hey, you're helping each other get better on the court. And then when the game comes, man, it's going to be easy. So you got to make practice hard when it comes to the little detailed things that's going to help y'all grow as a program.
And you know it's funny, man. Like the year we won the state title, right?
I know that feel good to say.
Boy, what? I'm still waiting.
My bad.
I'm still waiting.
Hey man, listen, like that I tell people all the time, man, that group was special, dog, because I mean, beginning of the year, we lost a lot of like talent, big time guys or whatever. But I tell that group, that second group, or that practice squad group, or the guys who knew they weren't getting on the floor much, they took pride into being the opponent's, guys, right?
Scout report.
Like they love to say, "Oh, I'm the primary, I'm the shooter. I'm every time I get my feet set, I'm letting it go."
Right.
I'm talking about every time they getting a shot, they pointed doing the three fingers that they had. You know what I'm saying? It's one guy that took pride in just going to get every single rebound, creating second chance opportunity. We gave those guys jobs to do, and they did it to the fullest. So at the end of the day, when we won the state, like we was like next couple of days after everybody was kicking it, we all got back together, and the starting five was like, "Hey fellas, like y'all made us better. Y'all pushed it." They said, to be honest, our practices with y'all going against us was harder going against was easier going against the guys in the playoffs or in the championship. Just because like they weren't better than those guys that we played against on the other team.
Right.
They just pushed harder. Also, they knew all our guys' weaknesses. They knew where to get to them. You know what I'm saying? And it was fun, man. And it's just like, I think now, like as a coach, like just trying to find that way, that in that environment, that vibe to get back. 'Cause it's hard to get a group of guys to understand, like you may not play at all in none of these games, but every day in practice you're gonna bring it. And you can find those type of guys in your program, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You give yourself a lot of chances to be successful throughout the season and in the playoffs.
And you know what's crazy? When you think about teamwork and we talk about teamwork, you won. I kind of felt like I won too.
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
I agree.
And it was, you don't even know, but like me and Coach Mike, we was already, hey man, they get the game. We down there.
Yeah, we down there.
We had already made those plans. We was already having those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people don't know about us too is that even when we in season, we made time to show up and support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And go to games, or we talking about games, or come on, you got such and such down the road. Like she's the number 3 player in the state. Like I seen her do this, she can do this, and we just doing those type of things, and we supporting each other big time.
Yeah.
And again, like when you won, I was so excited. I felt like I was the 12th man on the bench. Like I won too.
Yeah.
Like that's how excited I was sitting there watching the game, and y'all being able to hold up the trophy and that type of stuff, man. So that was a good feeling, and I was excited.
Yeah.
So it's always fun, especially.
Y'all was front row too, man. I appreciate it. I saw y'all and everything. It was funny. I ain't gonna hold you, to cut you off, Tim, that you get back. But I remember it. It was getting crunch time, man, and we was doing something, and for some reason I looked straight across and I saw y'all, and y'all was like, y'all good. Stay steady. Don't panic. And I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And just having that support, dog, that was dope, man. So I definitely appreciate that too, dog.
Bro, we was actually like helping y'all on the side. Like we was trying to get his attention. He was like, man, that ain't working, man. That ain't working. Nah, go back to boom, 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 boom. Get the ball in London hands. Run this action. Because we was looking, it was like, why they doing this and they done scored the last season, man. Sean was like, man, that game getting tight. You see me stand up. Hey, man, we ain't doing that no more. Go back to what y'all were doing. And then you went in Rooks for Summit Mac here, and then boom, y'all went on another run. And what's young bull name who used to do all of the dirty work for y'all team?
Samarion?
No, the other one.
Oh, Hezzy.
He was huge in that fourth quarter, man. I'm talking about it's what you was talking about, second and third chance opportunities. And we already know London is one of the top guards in the country. He could dictate pace. So every time, that's when me and Sean was like, yeah, y'all good. Because London, bro, you can't take the ball from him. So if y'all got an old board, kick it back out to London, you got to play defense for a whole nother 35 seconds. And even if y'all miss a shot, it's going to be a good shot, and it's going to be late into the shot clock, and y'all can get back and get y'all defense set. So I'm looking at the clock. I'm looking at time management. I'm looking at how London's looking, and I'm like, man, 6-point lead, y'all good. Y'all good. Just execute. Don't get sped up, and make sure that nobody takes a quick shot.
Yeah.
That's how y'all was able to walk that thing in.
And it was funny too, man. Like I was talking about the kid Mir, right? Like Mir his scouting report was always that gonna shoot, right? You know what I'm saying? Let him shoot. But that was the one I was telling you. He was in the gym every single day after school getting up shots. Right? So think about this. If you're a kid that's getting up shots every single day and you're working on that, don't you think when you get out in the game you're gonna shoot?
Right.
Yeah.
Guess what he did? And I got the stat sheet. It's in my scrapbook, bro. He did not take a single shot in the championship game. He had 7 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. And he cut down the opposing team's leading score from 18 to 8 that game.
Sacrifice.
Like, bro, like that sacrifice. It goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of this whole pod, bro. Sacrifice. Like the fact that I've never seen a kid sacrifice not one shot.
And he's playing D1 basketball. That like make sure you make that.
He's
let
playing
people
at
know that
He's playing at Xavier University in the Big East right now.
Division I player.
Yes.
Giving up, sacrificing, not to cut you off.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's just like that goes back to just what we talking about with this whole word chemistry, teamwork over just straight up talent. Like and from day one, us as coaches, bro, like right now, like when we going into this season, like we're just trying to figure out like how can we create that from 1 through 12 with our guys. This guy know that he probably not going to be playing that much on varsity, but he gonna come in every single day and give it. How can we emulate that again? So I don't know. Whatever we got to do, that's what we're trying to do, man. But that's gonna get us over the hump.
You got to dangle that carrot out too, like with a lot of kids, like those kids that are the back end of the bench. You got to reward them at some point. You know, maybe it's a game that's a weaker opponent. Give them that start. You know, that one start right there, that'll keep them quiet for the rest of the year. You know, because what they're gonna, and you know, you let them know the day before, like, hey, we're gonna roll with you, start the game off. So I need you to be ready. This is what I'm expecting from you. And when you let that person know that, you know, now they're on edge, and you never know if you can perform well, you can perform bad, but at least you know your number was called. So now the next time it happens, you're gonna be prepared. So I didn't really understand that method until I really got into coaching at the public school level. I was like, in order to keep kids engaged, you got to give them something. You can't demand a lot from them and just keep pulling from them, and then they don't get no return in it. You know what I mean? So like you got to find little creative ways, like, you know, give them a leadership role. You know, you're the person in charge of making sure everybody's upstairs and in the gym for practice time. Now they're going to be the best at that. But if they just a jersey slot, you know, it's going to be hard to get something out of them as the season goes on.
And I remember when we was all together, when we had that stars group, right? You know, we had so much talent throughout, and it was a lot of guys that did deserve to start. If they was on other teams, they would have been starting. And the one thing that, you know, I remember we used to talk about was like, yo, like let's change it up sometimes. And that's why, like, as a head coach, you give the assistant coach that vibe and just that leeway to be like, hey, listen, go to such and such, tell them like, hey, you know, this game is gonna be the game you start. Talking to coach, you know what I'm saying? Like, we already know assistant head done already talked,
Right.
but now that assistant coach is the one that gets to give that. Hey, I talked to coach. You've been working, like let's, what I'm saying, you starting, like let's get it. Now you know that now that kid is gonna be like, he's gonna dive into you more because he knows that you're fighting for him. He got somebody on that sideline and that coaching staff, lineup that's fighting for him, that's trying to give him the opportunity. So that those are like you said, these are just different creative ways you have to try to use and do to keep all your guys engaged and making sure everybody knows that everybody has a voice and is being heard. So, yeah, man. So, one more thing, man. I know the state of Georgia's been. We got some guys that's older, but some of them have left or they're leaving, and lately they've been having a lot of like young like showcases and everything, and just guys. And ladies, like I feel like, and I know you can speak on the lady side, Coach Mike. The talent in these younger ages that's coming up, I think it's getting even better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Even better, man. Just speak on some of the girls that, or just some things that you see in what class or what ladies you see, and men you see 10 and might like that's gonna tease you coming up.
I got 3. I'm gonna gloss through them pretty quickly. One kid by the name of Kareem Morris, 6'2" freshman. She played with FBC United this past year. She went to USA trials this summer. She was a Blue Star 30. She was working the camp. She got the 3-point championship and won the 5x5 tournament up there this weekend. Shoots it. I don't think there is a better shooter in the state of Georgia than Kareem Morris. She can knock it down from anywhere once you cross half court. So she's going to be somebody to look out for. Peyton Frazier, who's at Greater Atlanta Christian, 6'2", 6'3", long, athletic kid who, she's still coming into her game, but finishing at the rim. She can knock down the mid-range. A bona fide defender in the rim, can protect the rim with the best of them. And she's number 2 on Prep Girl Hoops rankings. And so she's another one. And then
she's been through that drill work, academy workouts and everything.
Yeah, she was at the Elite 40 camp.
Okay.
She had a pretty good performance, and she had got a write up from Basketball Bob, and so it's going to be some good things with her down the road. And then another kid by the name of I got 2 kids, 2 guards. Zoe Williams, that's at Marietta High School. She plays with Team Elite, 3SSB program. Super talented kid, steady guard, can shoot it, can defend. Got some good leadership qualities. And she was kind of off the radar last year because she had tore ACL, but she had an amazing summer, picked up a couple Division I offers. And, I'm looking to see how she's going to develop and transition into high school. And then the last one is this kid named Shala Sim. She won the 15U Nationals for Under Armour with FBC United. Real steady, strong guard. Can do just about the same things as Zoe. And both of those kids, they got real good feel and good basketball IQ. Like they just see plays 2-3 steps ahead. They're real confident ball handlers. They're really good shooters and really good defenders. And Sean knows we sucker for good point guards that can take care of the ball, that can defend and can get their teammates involved and can also score. And both of those young ladies are really good at that. So and those 2, Shala will be at Hillgrove, and Zoe will be at Marietta with the DeWitt sisters. So that's those are the crew. Everybody need to be looking out for.
10, you got anybody that, or a person or 2 that you kind of?
Not necessarily anybody, but I think that the 27, 29, and 30 class on the boys' side is really, really good, really exceptional. With the 29 and 30 class, those kids are up and coming into high school. Like, I've gotten to see some of the games and stuff over the summertime. A lot of those kids are ahead of the learning curve already. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
This junior class, 27, is pretty loaded too.
Mm.
And a lot of these kids, I think that they'll have good years this year, have a good summer, try to peak over the summertime going into the senior year. and they'll get what they need out of that. As far as that 27 class, that 29 to 30 class,
Yeah.
Strap.
can go.
And that's it. And that's the thing, like you said, 10, like 29, 30 class on the boys' side, is so many dudes that you can think of, and like you'll just, since it's so early, man, it's kind of like disrespectful to just name a couple of them right now without mentioning so many others, because they still got a lot to go to keep improving and showing. So it's just like I said, man, just state of Georgia with basketball, man, like on girls and boys side, man, it's just, I mean, it's always been like that for years, dog. But I just think now, man, with just a social media platform and just the good coaching and the things that we have and training that we have in the state, I think that's the reason on why a lot of these kids are where they at. You know what I mean? On top of just kids, just you know, you sparring with some of the best players in the country. And then when you finally go out there to these camps or these different tournaments and you're playing against other kids, like individually wise, you're better than a lot of them, right? That's why a lot of times when you look on the TV now, you in college, like you just see this kid, you be like, I ain't never heard of that kid before. Yeah, he's been around. He just, you know, time in the situation. You just in a big old bowl of just dogs and just big time kids. So now he's out somewhere else where now he can actually be seen.
Yep.
So yeah, man, like I said, that 29, 30 class is gonna be very special and it's intriguing, and I'm just looking to kind of continue to see their growth and see how they look, man. And then one more thing before we get out of here. Coach Mike, it was your birthday not too long ago.
I appreciate
it.
And you spent your birthday at the wound camp, bro. Like, just give us that. I mean, first of all, no, not wound camp. I'm sorry, Blue Star 30.
Blue Star 30.
Yes, I'm sorry. Like, just tell me that, like, bro. Like, first of all, just being part of the Blue Star 30 and being in the elite of the elite. Like, how was that, man? Especially doing it on your birthday.
It's a really fun and enjoyable camp. You got all of the top middle school girls athletes in the country. They just coming in and they're showcasing, their talents and seeing how they stack up and how they line up against their peers.
Mm-hmm.
They have a pretty good system where you have the Blue Star 30 kids that play on one side of the gym, and then you got the Blue Star All-Americans that play on the other side of the gym. That All-American side is it's 150 to 200 kids, and usually either the top 2 or the top 3 performers move over to the Blue Star 30 side on that last day. It was a kid that was so good. This kid named Janaya. She plays for Always 100 Adidas program. She was so good that on the first session, they moved her over. The kid got an offer from Notre Dame, Virginia Tech, Baylor, so on and so forth. And when she came over there, I can make an argument that she was the best player when she came over to the Blue Star 30 side. It's just kids that you see online. I'm online a lot, and I know a lot of these kids through their social media. And being able to see it in person and seeing that what I see online is actually translating to what I see with my own 2 eyes is real refreshing. And then, they got, for the most part, being down there 3 days, they got some stable and some good parents. They kind of understand the process and understand that they're young, so they're not putting too much pressure on them. And then most of the kids were, they were a joy to be around, so it's the last 3 years I've spent my birthday around my birthday with the camp, and I don't regret it at all. It's something that I love to do. I got a good relationship with Chris Minnings and Travis Ponton and Mike Flynn, and it's a blessing to be a Blue Star 30 coach. And anytime that I can be a part of that, I'm gonna make sure, whether it's my birthday, it's any holiday. So it was a great experience.
That's what's up, man. 10, got anything else you want to say, Mike?
Good, man. Just ready to get this year kicked off and looking forward to a lot of good basketball at that time.
We start our workouts Monday.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start getting these college coaches in first week of September. But 4-on-1s and conditioning and weight training starts Monday. We're looking forward to it.
Get it. Well, man, we out of here, dog.
Yep.
Another good episode.
Yep. 1.